A Mortal's Journey to Immortality Episode 329. In the previous episode, Han Li uncovered the aftermath of the terrifying battle in Devilfall Valley. He learned that the Elder Devil, whose power rivaled that of a deity transformation cultivator, had mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind only rumors of its survival. Meanwhile, a strange and powerful whirlpool emerged in the endless sea, surrounded by 7 islands rich with rare spirit veins, stirring conflicts among the major sects. After gathering crucial information about recent events and receiving 2 valuable broken gold spears from the grateful elders, Han Li departed in a flash of light, already planning his next journey. At the end of the previous episode, he had just begun to consider traveling to the Jin Empire to collect rare materials needed for refining the puppet body, all while dealing with the dangerous baleful energy coursing through him. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. I have no interest in cultivating to the point of becoming a monster akin to that Elder Devil, Han Li coldly responded. After a moment of silence, Monarch Soul Divergence spoke with a strange tone. Youngster Han, you don't truly believe that all the Elder Devils take a grotesque form? Han Li's curiosity was immediately piqued. He leaned forward slightly and asked, "What do you mean by that, Senior? Could it be that after I transform into an Elder Devil, I will not take on that otherworldly, terrifying form? Could I retain a human image?" Monarch Soul Divergence let out a slow, contemplative sigh before speaking. You have misunderstood some of the old records. Devil cultivators who ascend to the Devil realm may indeed join the rank of Elder Devils, but they retain their human appearance. Of course, this does not apply if they deliberately use certain devilish techniques to alter their bodies. Long ago, at the end of the war between ancient cultivators and Elder Devils, there were a few cultivators seduced by the power of high-grade Elder Devils. They completely fused with devilish essence. Those who joined the Elder Devils in this way became legends, and their transformation into grotesque forms may have contributed to the myth that all Elder Devils appear monstrous. But in truth, this only accounts for a small portion of cases. Han Li listened intently, trying to digest the information. Monarch Soul Divergence continued. There are 2 main types of Elder Devils that take on strange, terrifying shapes. The first are peak existences from the Elder Devil realm, known as Divine Ancestors. They are extremely rare, each one possessing unimaginable power. Some cultivators who practice Elder Devil arts call upon the names of these Divine Ancestors to draw in their devilish essence. The second type comes from demon clans in the mortal realm. These beings were never human, but they cultivated devilish arts and eventually ascended to the Elder Devil realm, which explains why their forms are often vicious and monstrous. Han Li furrowed his brow. Demon clans? How is that possible? How could mortals? Don't ask me to explain everything. Monarch Soul Divergence interrupted lazily. The records only lightly touch upon it. What is clear is that ancient demons seem to have had contact with the Elder Devils far earlier than humans did. I have met a few high-grade demon clan members, and surprisingly, none of them exhibited any devilish cultivation or energy. Perhaps you will find more answers if you go to the Jin Empire. That place likely has ancient records that explain such mysteries. Han Li's mind wandered briefly to the Sacred Providence Plate, a legacy treasure of the demon clans, which described a 3-headed, 6-armed cultivation art, strikingly reminiscent of the Elder Devil's 2-headed, 4-armed appearance. He shook his head with a laugh. Even if there was a hidden connection, it was not the right time for him to pursue it. After all, he had his focus on mastering the Azure Essence sword arts, and meddling with demon arts was far too dangerous for a human. He then shifted the conversation back to practical matters. There is no need to worry about your puppet body. I will assist you in collecting the materials whether I go to the Jin Empire or not. But you mentioned the Triflame Fan's refinement was nearly complete 2 years ago. By now, it should be finished. Could you give it to me? I am missing 2 of my flying swords and cannot deploy my sword formation. I urgently need a powerful treasure. Monarch Soul Divergence responded openly. A rare display of cooperation. I substituted the extinct materials in the Triflame Fan for you, but I cannot guarantee success. Because of the changes, the fan should more accurately be called the Triflame Fan. Originally, the fan required 81 fire attribute spirit materials to refine. I have reduced it to 31. Though this will also reduce its power by more than half. Han Li's eyes glimmered with understanding. It does not matter, even at half its original strength. A divine spirit treasure like the Triflame Fan will still be formidable enough that ordinary cultivators cannot block it. Monarch Soul Divergence handed Han Li a jade slip, saying, "Here is the refinement method. However, some of the materials are extremely difficult to obtain. The plume of a horizon young bird and the scales of a scarlet flame flood dragon will be nearly impossible to acquire in the heavenly south. Perhaps traces of these materials remain in the Jin Empire. A young woman from the Yang Summit Palace once raised a horizon young bird. If it is gone, some materials may remain. As for the scarlet flame flood dragon, that will be a matter of chance. The Jin Empire should provide better opportunities." Han Li chuckled at the familiar insistence. "You still want me to go to the Jin Empire?" "Indeed," Monarch Soul Divergence replied. "The trip will reveal why it is known as the sacred land of cultivators. You will see firsthand why it is the heart of all cultivation." Han Li accepted the plan but first intended to visit Devilfall Valley. "Before I leave the state of Dongyu, I need to check on the outskirts of Devilfall Valley," he said. Monarch Soul Divergence's tone became cautious. "What do you intend to do there?" Han Li explained. "I do not plan to enter the valley. You remember the Sovereign Devil Corpse? Before entering the spatial tear, I used a secret technique on it. I need to determine if it still exists and whether I can summon it." Without waiting further, Han Li increased his speed and streaked through the sky like an azure bolt. He reached the Myriad Chain Mountains and arrived at the entrance to Devilfall Valley. He spent 2 full days observing, finally locating the Sovereign Devil Corpse within the valley. However, no matter what spell seal he used, he could not extract it. It seemed trapped. Resigned, he left the valley, knowing he would have to wait until the valley opened again. 2 months later, Han Li returned to the vicinity of the Dreamcloud Mountains. As he approached, a patrol of Drifting Cloud Sect disciples spotted him. Their excitement was palpable, and they warmly welcomed him, sending word to the sect elders. Soon, all disciples gathered, greeting him as a respected Grand Elder of the sect. Lu Luo and Senior Marshal Brother Cheng led the welcome, their faces filled with genuine happiness. Once other disciples were dismissed, the 3 met in the main hall. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng spoke first, voice filled with emotion. "Junior Marshal Brother Han, I knew your abilities would protect you. But why did you not return sooner? You have caused us much worry." Lu Luo added with a gentle smile. "Indeed, if you had returned earlier, much concern could have been avoided." Han Li pursed his lips, replying calmly, "You are mistaken, Senior Marshal Brothers. I was trapped in a pocket dimension and could not escape until recently. I returned as soon as possible." Senior Marshal Brother Cheng, standing respectfully, continued, "What matters most is that you have returned alive. I also must thank you. If it were not for you saving my life, I would surely have perished." Han Li's expression softened. "It was nothing. You have always treated me well. I could not abandon you when you were in danger." Cheng's tone remained sincere. "Even so, saving my life is something I can never forget. Do not worry about Sister Nangong. She remains safe inside the ice." Hearing this, Han Li exhaled deeply, relief washing over him. Lu Luo then looked at him carefully, disbelief evident in her eyes. "Junior Marshal Brother Han, you have entered mid-nascent soul stage. When did this happen? It is truly inconceivable. Did you have a fortuitous encounter inside Devilfall Valley?" When Senior Marshal Brother Cheng heard Lu Luo, he was stunned. He hastily examined Han Li's inner energy with his spiritual sense and realized that Han Li had indeed reached mid-nascent soul stage. Shock washed over him, his eyes widening in disbelief. Han Li, sensing their astonishment, calmly explained, "I knew that with your keen insight, you would have realized it. Indeed, I came across a fortunate encounter inside Devilfall Valley and devoted myself to rigorous cultivation. As a result, I managed to reach mid-nascent soul stage in such a short time, which even I had not expected. However, if I had not known that both of you were protecting Wanner, I would have been trapped in the pocket dimension with constant worry." unable to focus on cultivation. My progress is also thanks to your care and protection. With a respectful gesture, Han Li saluted both of them, expressing his gratitude. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng quickly waved his hand, shaking his head. What are you saying, Junior Marshal Brother Han? Since I am Nangong Wan's sworn brother, it is my responsibility to look after her. And it is not as if we did much, though to our shame. She remains trapped in ice. Lu Luo's eyes sparkled with admiration as she added, Junior Marshal Brother Han has reached mid-nascent soul stage in less than 300 years of cultivation. Such progress would shake the entire heavenly south. It is entirely possible that you could reach the deity transformation stage in the future. Han Li, ever humble, offered a brief smile and changed the topic, inquiring about what had happened after he disappeared in Devilfall Valley. He knew that direct information from a witness would be far more accurate than rumors. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng let out a bitter smile. After you were swallowed by the spatial tear, the other Elder Devil became furious. Just as I feared my life was forfeit, other cultivators arrived, even together with Wei Wuya. They were initially unable to deal with the two-headed, four-armed Elder Devil. The situation became dire, but eventually the Molan arrived. Together, both sides managed to trap the devil temporarily. He continued, describing the brutal battle. During the fight, Spell Warrior La summoned the Molan Sacred Bird, inflicting grievous injuries on the Elder Devil. The Molan Divine Sage Zhang even managed to sever one of its heads. Despite this, the Elder Devil escaped in the end. Han Li listened intently as Cheng recounted the casualties. Many nascent soul cultivators perished. Nangong Wan's senior martial sister was especially unfortunate, having her body and nascent soul reduced to ash by a ball of black devil flame. Ancestor Lingu fared slightly better. His body was destroyed, but his nascent soul survived. Yet the most tragic case was that of the ghost spirit sect Elder Zhang, whose nascent soul was seized and devoured by the Elder Devil. Consequently, all ghost spirit sect cultivators who entered the valley perished, save for a few core formation stage cultivators. Cheng's tone became more serious as he explained what happened next. Following the battle, devils rarely linger in the mortal realm. None dared to pursue it. Yet against all expectations, this Elder Devil survived through unknown means and launched a killing spree across the heavenly south, devouring nascent souls of cultivators. In response, a hunting party was organized to track and slay it. Han Li's brow furrowed. I have heard rumors of the hunting party's battle, but is it true that two of the great cultivators, including the Molan Divine Sage, were unable to kill the devil? You should know the truth. Cheng nodded solemnly. We did not personally join the campaign, but according to the Alliance's reports, the Elder Devil suffered severe, life-threatening injuries yet escaped using some strange secret technique. Master Sunreach and others attempted to pursue it, but they abandoned the chase at the border of the Molan Plains. Wary of provoking the soaring tribes, many years passed without sightings of the devil. If it survived, it likely crossed the Molan Plains into the Great Jin Empire. Han Li's eyes widened in surprise at the mention of the Great Jin Empire. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng and Lu Luo noticed his reaction but wisely chose not to press him further, recognizing his current abilities far surpassed their own. The conversation shifted to Nangong Wan. Han Li revealed that he had discovered a cure in Devilfall Valley and intended to attempt dissolving her soul seal curse. Both Cheng and Lu Luo were overjoyed. The restoration of Nangong Wan's powers would significantly strengthen the Drifting Cloud Sect. They promptly escorted Han Li to the sect's restricted area. Standing at the entrance, Cheng and Lu Luo personally kept watch as Han Li approached the stone gate. The restrictions on the chamber had not been activated further since the last time it was opened, merely monitored by their spiritual sense. Satisfied, Han Li performed a series of incantations, and the stone door groaned as it slowly opened. Inside, the chamber was unchanged, the floors were spotless, and the moonlight stones embedded in the ceiling cast a bright glow. Nangong Wan remained sealed within the ice wall, her child form preserved with eyes closed and her face deathly pale. Han Li's heart tightened at the sight. He took several steps forward, stopping 3 meters from the ice. His expression was a mix of sadness and determination. After a long pause, he summoned a jade box from his storage pouch. Lightly tapping it, the box flung open to reveal a scarlet demon core, small yet pulsating with a mysterious red light. Carefully, Han Li examined it, then exhaled a soft azure mist onto the core. Using his incantations, he sent the core floating into the air, guiding it toward Nangong Wan's icy prison. With precise movements, he struck the ice wall with a spell seal, allowing the demon core and azure mist to merge into the thick ice and enter Nangong Wan's mouth. Slowly, a faint red glow spread across her pale face. Though her eyes remained closed, Han Li exhaled deeply, knowing that the process could not be rushed. The curse would not be lifted in mere months. He remained there silently, watching over her, memories of when he first met her stirring quietly in his mind. After an unknown period, Han Li left the chamber and resealed the restrictions. Outside, Shang and Lu Luo inquired about her condition, but he simply smiled and told them that he would need to wait a few days to determine if the soul seal curse had been successfully lifted. With that, he bid them farewell for the time being and returned to his cave residence. Exhausted from his journey back to the Dreamcloud Mountains, his residence had been carefully preserved under their strict orders, and Mu Peiling, his concubine, had remained nearby, continuing her cultivation. She had now reached false core stage. Nearing core formation, Han Li felt his heart stir at this progress and recalled the copulative essence arts, a technique that could accelerate core formation with his assistance. He possessed numerous medicinal aids to increase the likelihood of success, with a 70% chance of helping her safely form a core. Han Li reflected that, without her, he had unexpectedly broken through to mid-Nascent Soul stage in Devilfall Valley, a feat he had originally planned to achieve much later alongside her. The copulative essence arts could also assist in breaking the bottleneck to late Nascent Soul stage, but he would need greater mastery and a partner at late core formation stage. Normally, achieving peak Nascent Soul stage could take hundreds of years of careful guidance and cultivation alongside Mu Peiling. With that thought, Han Li arrived in front of his cave residence. When he saw the sea of mist in front of it, he smiled and parted it with a wave of his sleeve before calmly walking inside. Nothing had changed in his cave residence. Even a portion of the black tainted gold devouring beetles he left behind to guard the cave were now condensed into a tricolored ball that motionlessly hung from the center of the main hall's ceiling. The profound goddess palm and the ninecurl spirit ginseng appeared exactly as he had left them. Han Li paid little attention to the profound goddess palm, knowing it was unlikely to be revived, but he held the ninecurl spirit ginseng in high regard. The plant was essentially extinct in the outside world, and it had even developed sentience along with its own incarnation, a truly rare occurrence. Though he would have liked to carry it with him, sustaining it without a continuous supply of qi was impossible. With a sigh, he set it aside for the time being. As for his insects, Han Li kept most of them on his person. He held the 24 eggs of his 6-winged frost centipedes carefully to avoid worry, though they had hatched halfway through his journey to the far west. He regretted that the larvae had remained in stasis for the 27 years he spent in the spatial tear, unable to access the green liquid necessary for their development. The larvae had been kept in a specialized spirit beast pouch in deep hibernation. First, Han Li released the gold-devouring beetles into their designated room, followed by the 6-winged frost centipedes into another. He then tossed the spirit beast pouch into the room. A gust of white light illuminated the space, revealing over 23-inch-long centipede larvae. Their snow-white, translucent bodies and lack of wings made them resemble harmless, oversized silkworms. Han Li recalled his initial uncertainty regarding whether the rainbow skirt grass could help the 6-winged frost centipedes evolve. To his delight, it was indeed effective. He had originally intended to use their frost chi to refine purple apex flames, but after the battle in Devilfall Valley, another use occurred to him. The gold-devouring beetles were formidable, yet their speed was insufficient against extremely fast opponents. The 6-winged frost centipedes, with their glacial chi and extraordinary speed, could fill this gap. When fully matured with 3 pairs of wings, they reportedly reached top 3 ranks in speed among all insects, even said to be invisible while moving and able to traverse 500 kilometers in moments. Though Han Li remained skeptical of historical records, their speed and potential were undeniable. In the battle against the Elder Devil, Han Li had been challenged by the creature's strange movements, reinforcing the value of the six-winged frost centipedes in his mind. Furthermore, their maturation would allow him to refine the purple apex flames in greater abundance. Satisfied that the larvae had accepted their new environment, Han Li planned to observe them further. His thoughts were interrupted as he sensed movement near the cave entrance. Light flared in his eyes, and with a wave of his sleeve, he summoned Silvermoon. Mu Peiling has arrived at the gate. Lead her into the hall. I have a few words I wish to say to her, Han Li commanded with a solemn voice. Yes, Master, Silvermoon replied respectfully before vanishing in a flash of silver light. Han Li sealed the insect rooms and calmly proceeded to the main hall. Seating himself in the master's chair, he rested his chin on his hand. Appearing deep in thought, soft footsteps echoed as Silvermoon entered with a beaming smile, followed by Mu Peiling. Mu Peiling's beauty remained unchanged, if not enhanced. Her cold exterior had softened into serenity, giving her an even more captivating appearance. I pay my respects to my lord. I congratulate you on your safe return and rise in cultivation, she said gracefully, giving a curtsy. Han Li smiled and gestured for her to stand. You have congratulated me immediately. It seems you have heard the news. There is no need for such formalities between us. We endured hardship together in the far west, and our relationship grew closer during that time. Mu Peiling nodded with a gentle smile, responding smoothly, Many thanks, my lord. As your concubine and having received your kindness, I had no reason to leave. I also never believed you had perished. Han Li's expression grew thoughtful. I did not expect such faith from you, but it was truly dangerous this time, and there was a chance I would not have returned. Although your cultivation speed has improved greatly with the aid of medicine, you are still on the verge of core formation. What do you estimate your odds of success to be? She looked slightly helpless. Not much. My odds are less than 1 in 10. It will depend on providence. Han Li smiled, a glint of determination in his eyes. Providence may not be the only factor. I can assist you in core formation, increasing your odds by 30%. Mu Peiling's eyes widened. What? How is that possible? My lord cannot be joking. I have never heard of such medicines in the Heavenly South. Most of these medicines are not available in the Heavenly South, so it is natural you would not have heard of them. With your aptitude in my medicines, your odds should approach 50%. Han Li explained calmly. She hesitated, then asked, Is my lord telling me this because he has instructions for me? Please, do not hesitate to tell me. Han Li considered carefully before speaking. Do you remember the agreement we made when you became my concubine? Of course. I requested 30 years to cultivate and retain my vital yin during this time. Mu Peiling replied, blushing. Han Li corrected her gently. That time is nearly complete. You need not worry, I will not trouble you, especially as you approach core formation. However, there are a few things I must clarify before you form your core. I do not wish to invest my medicines only for you to change your mind afterward. Mu Peiling's eyes widened in shock. What does my lord mean? Han Li's expression turned serious. I hope that after you form your golden core, you will abandon your current cultivation art and practice the copulative essence arts. It is a rare pair cultivation technique. When perfected, the woman loses her vital yin in copulation, granting both man and woman significant benefits. The most crucial aspect is breaking bottlenecks in cultivation. You, as the woman, will be the primary practitioner, but I, having reached mid-nascent soul stage, will receive the greatest benefit. I wish to use this to break through to late nascent soul stage. You must cultivate the technique to late core formation for this to be possible. If you agree, I will continue providing you with medicines to accelerate your progress, potentially saving over 100 years of cultivation. If not, I will not force you. After your core formation attempt, I will remove restrictions on your soul regardless of success and grant you freedom. From that point, we will have no further connection. When Mu Peiling heard this, she was thoroughly shocked. For a time, her expression wavered and her heart was thrown in turmoil. Han Li stared at Mu Peiling and slowly said, as a woman cultivates the copulation essence art, they must retain their vital yin until the very end or all their efforts will be for naught. As a result, I will not have you fulfill your marital duties until you reach late core formation stage, preserving our current relationship until then. But if you are truly capable of assisting me in reaching late nascent soul stage, I will promise you here that I will assist you in forming a nascent soul with all of my strength. With a late nascent soul stage cultivator backing you, forming a nascent soul is not impossible. Han Li's words were genuine. If he truly reached late nascent soul stage, he would have the ability to gather grade 8 demon echo grass to refine with the 9 spirit ginseng, creating the spirit medicine necessary to aid in forming a nascent soul. At that level, he would not fear grade 8 demon beasts, making the task achievable. Mu Peiling lowered her head, lost in contemplation for a moment, before raising her eyes to ask, "My lord, does the copulative essence arts have a particularly slow cultivation speed or any negative consequences?" Han Li promptly answered, "Neither. The technique is not as mighty as a top-grade cultivation art, but it is faster than ordinary ones. As for consequences, it may make combat more difficult." The woman looked at him calmly and said, "Since that is the case, I will follow my lord's plan. I clearly understand my own aptitude. Without your assistance, forming a core would be nearly impossible for me. As for the nascent soul stage, it would be entirely beyond my reach." "I am very happy you agreed," Han Li replied, his expression remaining calm and steady. "Since we have spent time together, you know me fairly well. Although you are only my concubine, I will not demand too much. Prepare your mind properly for core formation. I will deliver the spirit medicine when the time comes." Mu Peiling curtsied deeply and spoke with resolve. "Many thanks for my lord's kindness. I understand the principle of repaying kindness 1,000-fold, and I will repay you with my life." Her sincerity was clear. She intended to dedicate herself fully to Han Li. Knowing he wielded power on the level of the 3 great heavenly south cultivators and had treated her well, it was evident that her gratitude was not motivated by personal gain. Without the medicine pills Han Li had provided in the past, she would still be lingering at the mid-foundation establishment stage. She had reached the verge of core formation only through his aid, so accepting his terms required little hesitation. Han Li's frankness had strengthened their relationship, creating a faint intimacy in her expression as he spoke. Over the next half-day, Han Li candidly answered Mu Peiling's questions about core formation. She took careful note of his advice, knowing this was a rare opportunity and that his guidance could address deficiencies in her cultivation. When her visit concluded, she departed with a feeling of having learned much. Han Li did not ask her to stay, offering only a few words of caution before Silvermoon escorted her away. Once Silvermoon returned, Han Li sat in his chair, studying a jade slip containing the refinement method of the Triflame Fan. Silvermoon approached him, curiosity evident in her gaze. "Master, you truly wish to assist that woman in reaching late core formation stage?" Han Li raised his brow, withdrawing his spiritual sense from the jade slip. "What, is there something wrong with that?" Silvermoon hesitated, then asked. "Of course not. I was merely surprised that Master would not simply take in another core formation female cultivator as a concubine instead of choosing the long and difficult path. Why treat this woman with such consideration?" "It is nothing," Han Li replied calmly. "I have known her for many years and find her character acceptable and worthy of cultivation. I do not wish to use her only to help me overcome my future bottleneck. I intend to groom her as a capable subordinate. When I cultivate in seclusion, I will need someone I trust to manage my affairs. Wanner is not inclined to handle sect matters. But I see that this woman is different. She does not seek constant advancement and will grow complacent once she reaches a certain stage, making her suitable for sect affairs." Han Li paused briefly before continuing. "The copulative essence arts requires a willing participant. Ordinary female core formation cultivators would not abandon a familiar cultivation art without incentive. Since I have already helped Mu Peiling advance through foundation establishment and form a core, she will not refuse. I am also offering her the chance to condense a nascent soul, an opportunity she would not have without my assistance. There is no shame in using her in this way." especially after investing so many resources into her cultivation. Silvermoon tilted her head, a soft smile forming. I see now. I had not considered it carefully before. Han Li returned her smile, more mysteriously this time. In the future, you will not be idle either. Now that I have reached mid-nascent soul stage, I must seclude myself for several days to refine the celestial ice flames to its final sliver. I will also attempt to comprehend the method for opening the Heavenvoid Cauldron. During this time, I leave the affairs of the cave residents in your hands. Silvermoon beamed with joy. It is truly worthy of celebration that Master has reached the final stage in refining the celestial ice flames. Han Li nodded. Yes, it is the first step in opening the Heavenvoid Cauldron. Beyond that, I have no clue what else is required. But that is enough for now. I have grown tired. With that, he stood and walked to his bedroom. Silvermoon remained in the hall briefly before leaving herself. The night passed uneventfully. The next morning, as Han Li awoke, Silvermoon arrived to report that Senior Marshal Brother Cheng and Lu Luo had arrived. Han Li readied himself and had Silvermoon lift the restriction on the gate to welcome them. The two men were greeted warmly as they entered the cave residence. They all sat in the main hall. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng spoke first. Apologetically, we did not intend to disturb Junior Marshal Brother Han on his day of rest. But the matter is urgent and could not be delayed. Han Li smiled lightly. There is no need for excessive politeness. Cultivators recover quickly after a brief rest. It is no trouble at all. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng continued. To be frank, the Ancient Sword Sect and the 100 Possibilities Pavilion have received word of your return and have sent a joint invitation for us to meet them. Despite your time in our Drifting Cloud Sect, they have yet to see you. This is a chance to establish connections between our three sects, which share a bond of mutual prosperity. The invitation also relates to a master recognition ceremony for a magic treasure. The 100 Possibilities Pavilion has invited us and the elders of the Ancient Sword Sect to witness it. Han Li's interest was piqued. A master recognition ceremony? The 100 Possibilities Pavilion is renowned for treasure refinement. If they invite us, this magic treasure must be extraordinary. Lu Luo added, handing a golden lettered invitation to Han Li. The master of this treasure is a young disciple of the 100 Possibilities Pavilion. Their aptitude is exceptional, having formed a golden core in less than 100 years. The elders hold high hopes for them. Han Li examined the letter, smiling. Forming a golden core in under 100 years is truly remarkable. Tomorrow, I will attend with the two of you. I am curious to see this disciple. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng chuckled. It is fortunate you are going. I heard that Grand Elder Jin Wuwan of the Ancient Sword Sect has emerged from seclusion. He entered it 80 years ago at mid-nascent soul stage. It is unknown what he has accomplished. Han Li reacted with surprise. The Ancient Sword Sect's Grand Elder. It would not hurt to meet him. He then scrutinized Senior Marshal Brother Cheng, frowning with concern. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng, I swept my spiritual sense past your body. Did you not find any life-prolonging medicine pills in Devilfall Valley? When the old man heard Han Li, he wore a bitter smile. I also know what will happen. At most, I only gave another dozen years to live before I perish. And while I did find a few treasures in Devilfall Valley, none of them were life-prolonging medicine pills. Sealing my fate, cultivators that cannot complete the Great Tao will eventually perish from age and be reincarnated. There is nothing to be sorry about. When that happens, I will be entrusting the sect to you two junior marshal brothers. With that said, the old man's expression grew calm. He was clearly prepared for his end to come. Han Li inwardly sighed, although he had acquired many spirit medicines from the ruins of the Spirit Ether Garden. None of them were capable of prolonging lifespan. All he could do was console Senior Marshal Brother Cheng. There is no need for Senior Marshal Brother Cheng to be so dejected. Perhaps you will come across some luck in a few years. The old man shook his head with a calm, indifferent expression. It was clear that he had already come to terms with the inevitability of his own death. Seeing this, Han Li decided not to dwell further on the matter. Instead, he summoned a white jade slip into his hand, turning his attention to practical concerns. Senior Marshal Brothers, Han Li began, handing the jade slip to Senior Marshal Brother Cheng. I have remembered something important. I need the sect disciples to go out and gather materials. Because there are many different materials required. They should simply do their best. I will take whatever they can acquire. And as long as the cost is reasonable, I will personally compensate them. Have the sect disciples return to me for payment once they have gathered the items. Lu Luo's curiosity was piqued. He reached for the jade slip, his expression immediately showing surprise and confusion as he immersed his own spiritual sense into the information. No wonder you said they need only try their hardest. Lu Luo said in shock. Many of these materials are extremely rare, and some are thought to exist only in legend. I doubt most of them can even be found in the heavenly south. Oh, let me see what you are trying to find. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng's curiosity was similarly aroused. He reached out to inspect the jade slip and then withdrew his spiritual sense with a visible expression of shock. These are truly rare materials. Could it be that Junior Marshal Brother is attempting to refine a magic treasure? Han Li smiled faintly. A magic treasure? That is about right. Despite the vague response, Cheng decided not to probe further and immediately set about organizing the sect disciples to gather materials from across the heavenly south. With those arrangements made, the two senior marshal brothers exchanged a glance, and Lu Luo handed over a bulging storage pouch to Han Li. What is this? Han Li asked in surprise, reaching instinctively into the pouch and looking at the two with curiosity. Junior Marshal Brother Han, could it be that you have forgotten? Lu Luo said with a smile. A few years ago, we had sect disciples gather auric essence and other rare materials for you. Over the years, we only managed to acquire a small piece of auric essence, but all the other materials were collected. I intended it to be a pleasant surprise. But it seems you now need even more materials. Your skills in tool refinement must have grown significantly. Han Li's eyes brightened. You found a piece of auric essence? He eagerly inspected the contents of the pouch. Inside was a walnut-sized piece of auric essence, along with other materials he had been lacking to refine the ancient Nascent Soul grade puppets. These would have allowed him to create several puppets to bring into Devilfall Valley if he had possessed them earlier. I do need these items. Many thanks for your efforts. Their value is considerable, and I imagine you must have spent a fair amount of spirit stones acquiring them. Before Han Li could continue, Senior Marshal Brother Cheng chuckled and waved his hand. These items may have cost a few spirit stones, but Junior Marshal Brother Han fought on behalf of the sect twice during the Molan invasion. It is only natural that you be compensated. Please, take them without hesitation. Han Li quickly accepted the offer, putting away the storage pouch without further formality. Senior Marshal Brother Cheng seemed pleased with Han Li's acceptance, showing a sense of satisfaction at his response. Ah yes, Senior Marshal Brother Cheng, Han Li suddenly remembered. When I was dragged into the spatial tear, 2 flying swords were left behind. Have you seen them? Anticipating the question, the old man replied apologetically. I would have mentioned it regardless. Those 2 swords were seized by the Elder Devil during the campaign against the Devil. The magic swords seemed unusable to him, likely because they were bonded to you. Now, with the Devil's whereabouts unknown, I fear they will be difficult to recover. It is with the Elder Devil? Han Li's expression darkened briefly. That will be troublesome, but it is no matter. They are only worldly possessions. I can always make more. Cheng's expression relaxed. I imagined as much. Junior Marshal Brother Han possesses many flying swords. Losing 2 is inconsequential and certainly not worth the risk of seeking out the Elder Devil. His concern was clear. He feared for Han Li's safety, knowing how vital Han Li was to the Drifting Cloud Sect. After discussing other sect matters, Senior Marshal Brother Cheng and Lu Luo took their leave, with Han Li escorting them outside his cave residence before returning inside. Silvermoon appeared in a flash of light, her expression beaming. Master, you've acquired another piece of auric essence. Will you be able to temper another 2 swords and recreate the aureate sword formation? Her expression immediately turned serious. How could it be so simple? The bamboo cloud swarm swords were refined as sets of magic treasures. Even if you forge another 2 swords to replace the missing ones, you would not easily control them, nor would they form the aureate sword formation. We would need to recover the swords first. Han Li's eyes flickered, and he sat down with a solemn expression. I am fully aware, unless I am certain of victory, I will not act recklessly. I will only pursue the Elder Devil after opening the Heavenvoid Cauldron or refining the Triflame Fan. Suddenly, Monarch Soul Divergence's voice echoed in his mind. Youngster Han, do not forget my puppets. Though the Elder Devil may be formidable, if you gather enough materials to refine them, they will be sufficient to defend you. Han Li smiled faintly. Since Senior put so much effort into these puppets, I naturally trust they will be exceptional. However, Senior never revealed the refinement methods or their capabilities. How can I rely on them? Monarch Soul Divergence snorted proudly. Do not goad me, until you gather the materials for my puppet bodies. I will not reveal even a fraction of their secrets. But I will say this, once refined, these puppets will be as formidable as I was in my prime. Han Li's expression betrayed his shock. No less powerful than you in your prime? Do you doubt me? The voice turned cold. Not doubt, merely cautious, Han Li replied. I imagine even you only have a theoretical estimation of their power. Monarch Soul Divergence laughed, conceding the point. Reasonable, but with my knowledge, I could not mistake the strength of the puppets I designed. Trust me on this. Han Li ignored him further and entered his secluded room, intent on gathering the final strands of celestial ice flames and refining his newly acquired materials. Preparing for the creation of 2 nascent soul stage puppets. The next morning, Han Li and his senior martial brothers set out toward the 100 Possibilities Pavilion. Since the 3 sects shared the same mountain range, their journey was relatively short. As they approached, Han Li recalled a memory of attending the sword trial assembly as a low-level disciple, finding the memory amusing. As they emerged from the Drifting Cloud Sect's grand formation, they were met by 3 core formation cultivators standing respectfully. Seeing the trio approach, the cultivators immediately flew forward. We pay our respects, seniors. We awaited your arrival under the orders of our martial uncles, said the one at the front. A composed older man, followed by 2 middle-aged cultivators. Senior martial brother Cheng waved them off politely. There is no need for such formality. Martial nephews, please, lead the way. Han Li gave the older man a mysterious smile, recognizing him instantly. Just as it happened, the man was Old Man Fu, who presided over the sword trial assembly. Though only a core formation cultivator, his keen intelligence and sharp memory ensured he would recognize Han Li. Yet he revealed nothing at all. In this episode, we saw Han Li navigating both personal and sect affairs with careful strategy and foresight. He made a pivotal agreement with Mu Peiling, promising to help her reach late core formation while preserving her cultivation path, demonstrating his wisdom and concern for those close to him. At the same time, he prepared the sect disciples to gather rare materials for refining powerful tools, including ancient nascent soul-grade puppets. Showing his meticulous planning and resourcefulness, Han Li also faced challenges regarding lost flying swords and the threat of the Elder Devil, reminding us of the dangers lurking in his world. Along the way, he continued to strengthen his position within the Drifting Cloud Sect, building trust with his senior martial brothers and preparing for future confrontations. Through careful actions and strategic thinking, Han Li steadily moves toward mastering the Heavenvoid Cauldron, refining formidable magic treasures, and protecting those he values. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Immortal's journey to immortality. If you enjoyed this episode or found it exciting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive the latest updates on Han Li's journey. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.